to galacticconnection.com, one of the most popular blogs on the World Wide Web today for alternative news. Stay tuned for the latest information on our world shift from enslavement to galactic involvement, as well as current intel on any blockages impeding us from our sovereign birthright. Knowledge and self-mastery are key at this time. Our commitment is to present you with the latest breaking conspiratorial articles, off-world messages, exopolitics, cutting-edge technologies and sciences, and also an ever-significant intertwining of spiritual support and metaphysical scope that one needs to dive down the rabbit hole in search for truth with balance. We are truly on the horizon of a new golden age filled with the promise for more love, worldwide peace, and accelerated intuitive skills, where every living being can exist in cohesion and abundance. It is whatever we envision and dream this new world to be. I say to you now, let's redefine the new world to the beginnings of our own precious heaven on earth. Galactic Connection is here to provide the pulse of Mother Earth through an eclectic range of interviews each Tuesday afternoon from 3 to 4:55 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Station 2 on BBS Radio, expanding your perspectives on how we can once and for all take back our freedoms, our joy, and our connection with our mighty I Am presence. Our intention remains true to connect hearts and minds everywhere in order to obtain global unity and galactic and universal acceptance. Our discussions will continue to cover anything to do with galactic society and our involvement with our galactic brothers and sisters. Our guests are experts in their fields, and our radio shows have been coined as some of the most thought-provoking out there. In addition to our daily blog, which runs 365 days a year, we also offer a realm of healing services such as our world-renowned implant removal processes, our spiritual past life clearings, our galactic violet ray alchemy from Alexandra, who shares in the lineage of Merlin, and other cutting-edge healing technologies. Check our site out at galacticconnection.com now, sending you a wave of light, love, and inspiration, and a personal hug and thank you for listening to our Galactic Connection radio show and visiting our blog today. Good afternoon, everybody. Today is January 26, 2013, and I am Alexandra Meadors of galacticconnection.com. If you've not already discovered my website, please check out the daily blog at galacticconnection.com/daily-blog. You will find an online library of a multitude of links and endless articles and news on everything from archaeology, history, space, and the financial system, to astrology, spirituality, quantum physics, and more. The ultimate goal is to provide a one-stop hub on the daily pulse of the planet's progress. You will typically see headline news through an inspirational lens, reminding us that humanity is successfully breaking the chains from the old matrix. Yay! Now, today I thought I would do a brief interview with our infamous guest Cobra to discuss a topic near and dear to all of our hearts, the moon. Every night we look up and we marvel at the beauty and the brilliance of our moon, and yet there's still such a mystery around it. With the plethora of data flying around the internet, you begin to wonder, what is the moon really? Is it a satellite? Is it a spaceship? Or is it a projection from our planet millions of years ago? Now, Cobra, what I thought we could discuss today is the ramifications of the moon on our lives. It's always been such a mystery, yet it is the largest object in our skies. I thought, in tribute to the full moon in Leo yesterday, we could talk about what the moon really is.
Okay, basically, first I would like to say that the moon is a natural object. It is not artificial, as some people are saying.
Okay, that's interesting. I was going to ask you that too, because there's all these rumors about whether it's a spaceship or, something that's a fragment that was, propelled off of the Earth.
No, it was actually when the solar system was formed, Moon and Earth were formed as one body, and actually they separated, and now they are part of the same energy system. And Moon is actually kind of an energy lens that directs feminine energy to the planet.
Interesting. And so this plays a vital role with the goddess energy that's blanketing our planet right now.
Yes, yes. What was happening in the last, I would say, 10 years is there was a big purification of the energy of the moon, and now the energy of the moon is completely clear and pure. So there are no reptilian bases, there are no reptilians, there are nothing of that nature. It is just a pure natural body of light that is transmitting energy of the pure feminine principle to the planet. And each full moon is a wonderful occasion to connect to that energy.
Interesting. So now, prior to this happening, was it strictly the reptilians that dominated the moon?
They didn't dominate the moon. Actually, it was a mixed influence. There were many things going on the moon. There were many bases, extraterrestrial bases. Some of them were positive, some of them were negative. There was a brief period when the reptilian race has completely taken over the moon just for a few years in the late 90s, but then it was completely cleared out. So now we have a very positive experience there.
Interesting.
There are some bases, some Pleiadian bases there, and some bases of other positive civilizations there. And what they are doing, they are actually directing the flow of energy from the outskirts of the solar system towards the planet.
Ah. Well, now, is this, I mean, you still don't see a lot of clear footage or pictures from the moon through NASA and facilities like that. What exactly do you feel they are hiding other than, the fact that there is extraterrestrial life elsewhere besides,
Okay, I will explain. The Apollo program was just the official public part of the United States space program. And even the Apollo astronauts have had contact with extraterrestrial life while on the moon, and most of that was censored. NASA was not able to censor everything, and a little bit of that leaked out to the public. But apart from that, NASA also had an unofficial secret space program. They have actually, this unofficial secret space program has managed to put a man on the moon in the 50s already. And there were bases on Moon and Mars in the 60s already. And they were only accessible to the Cabal. And then the resistance movement has cleared those bases in the late 90s and the beginning of this century.
Well, that's great news, huh? Considering how close it is to our planet, of course.
It is very close, yes.
So is it true that there is just a full-blown civilization living there in a full-blown city? And, when you say a multitude of bases, how many are we talking about?
Not so many of them, maybe a few dozens of them, not so many, because those civilizations have a capacity to just locate their motherships in the Earth's orbit or whatever they need to put them. So there is no need for a multitude of moon bases at this moment.
Ah, okay. And now, is it true that the moon was one of the specific key elements for the electronic fence that was around the Earth?
Actually, at a certain point in time, there were many so-called midway stations, implantation stations, and much of the machinery for the veil was located on the moon or near the moon, in so-called Lagrange points. There are special points between the Earth and Moon where the gravity influence of the Moon and the Earth is the same. And the controlling forces were using those special points to control the energy field around the planet. And of course, all this is gone.
Wow, that's interesting. I think that's the first time I've ever heard that explanation.
Okay.
Thank you for that. So now, I've heard and read that we are extracting titanium from the planet and some other resources. Can you expound upon that?
You mean on the moon?
Yes.
Oh yes, there are many so-called rare minerals and rare metals on the moon. The Cabal has no access to them any longer, but you would say you could find elsewhere in the solar system, you could find very rare metals and minerals in large quantities. You could find large diamonds in the asteroid belt. You could find a lot of gold elsewhere in the solar system. So it's certain things that are quite rare on this planet are not so rare elsewhere.
Interesting. So you had stated in the notes that I had typed up for you that the Apollo mission, was only successful one time, that we actually landed on the moon once.
It's not true. It's not true.
No?
No. There were actually a few of them from Apollo 11 to Apollo, I think, 17. There were about, you can count them.
I think there were 6. Maybe 6?
Yeah, I think there were 6.
Okay. So that I just wanted clarification on that. Somebody had brought that up. And so now you're saying the Pleiadians are primarily living there now or using it as a base? Are there other civilizations?
There are quite many civilizations using those bases, but those bases are not so important any longer because most of the focus right now is not on the moon, it's on this planet.
True.
And most of those bases are actually positioned, most of those beings, most of those civilizations have their motherships positioned high above the Earth's orbit on their strategic points.
Okay. Now, how did they actually regain control of the moon?
Pardon?
How did they actually regain control of the moon?
Yes, the resistance movement inside the solar system was progressing towards the planet. There were many battles in the asteroid belt, on the Mars, and also on the moon. And they just cleared completely all the reptilian warriors and all the other races. There were some physical battles going on about, I would say, 10 to 15 years ago.
Wow. So, are these physical battles something that we can even understand in
our reality?
Yes, it is quite similar to the wars that we're having on this planet still. It is simply that the Cabal was driven out of all those strategic points. The Cabal had a strong influence on Mars from the 50s to the late 90s, and on the moon are at the same time frame.
Okay.
And they lost that.
Okay. And I noticed, on your blog a long time ago, you had so many specifics on Planet X back in April. And I was wondering, do you have that kind of information on the moon as well?
You could.
There is much information on the moon. Every scientist, every astronomer has those basic data about the moon because the moon is very close to the Earth, and scientists were able to measure very exactly the position on the moon, the orbital characteristics, everything is there.
Okay.
So most of the information about the moon is in the public domain right now.
Okay. I just thought maybe there'd be something covertly
tucked away.
It's more happening in the moon bases, but this is a thing of the past right now.
Have you heard about the Shard? It's some sort of massive tower on the moon?
Oh yes, there was a leakage from NASA. There were some photos of certain strange objects on the moon. There is much more which has not been revealed yet.
Okay. Are these just gigantic bases? How large are they?
Well, usually those bases are not so big.
Okay.
There were a few that were quite large, but most of the bases are quite small.
Now,
there's not much need for that any longer.
Okay. Now, I did read, and this is a really interesting question for you, is I had read somewhere that the moon was acting as a ball and chain to the planet Earth, and that as we ascended, we would be released from the moon. What are your thoughts on that?
No. It's not necessary.
Okay.
It's not necessary. The moon is going through the same ascension process as this planet, and actually the whole solar system as a result of the influence of the energies from the galactic central sun. So everything is being transformed together.
And I had read that as well, so I thought this was just kind of something interesting to throw out to you.
So
Yes.
You are agreeing that this is not a gigantic spaceship. It's not a satellite per se.
No.
Okay.
It's a natural object.
Okay. Well, so now why do you feel that at a full moon we have more crime and suicides and people going crazy?
It is simply because the moon is acting as a transmitter of the energies of the feminine principle, and of course the feminine principle is connected with the emotions. So the full moon actually triggers the emotions, and the emotions which are suppressed are coming to the surface, and those people who don't know how to deal with those emotions can get a little bit crazy sometimes.
Ah. So can you give us a little bit of a astrological update on this new full moon in Leo? I think it was yesterday, right? Around
9:20 in the morning?
Yes. This is actually the first full moon in this new year, and it's a beginning because it connects the energies of Leo and Aquarius. It is a dynamic tension between the individual and the collective. So the energy of this full moon is bringing us into more awareness of our active role inside of the society. Because Aquarius, when we have sign Aquarius, is the sign of society. And this is actually the first trigger point in this year which will show us how can we as individuals can create a new society. This is a very good start of the new year.
Oh, I bet. A good launching point, huh?
Yes.
So how do you feel about everything else that's unfolding at this point, Cobra? I haven't talked to you in a while, so I was curious.
Okay, the first thing was the activation on December 23rd. This was the milestone. It was a very important one because we have actually began a new cycle. And the beginning of the new cycle is actually creating the plan. There are many things going in the background, but almost nothing is reported. It is simply because the plan is now in the early stages of being manifested. And what you can read on most websites is just this info, because the other side, the cabal, has sent a lot of disinformation agents and have managed to infiltrate a lot of this info right now.
Oh.
So we will just have to wait a little bit until this dust settles, and then I and some other people will be able to release more intel.
Okay, that sounds good. What is your perspective on the people's public trust?
Okay, I will say that basically they are good people, they're doing a good thing, but I'm not expecting these to manifest any tangible changes in the near future.
Okay. Isn't it also, have you ever heard of the guy David Wynn Miller?
Yes.
I mean, he is just phenomenal. It kind of reminds me of that, where you're getting into a different language and nomenclature. Would you agree with that?
Yes, he has an interesting perspective on things. Yes, I would agree with that.
Very. And so how well are you doing right now as far as prepping for the London conference? Is there anything you wanted to talk about regarding that?
Okay, actually, we have managed to get the location. I have just announced the London conference yesterday on my blog, and I would like to invite everybody listening to join us with this conference, because it is a fresh new start after the end of the old cycle and the beginning of the new cycle. And most likely I will be able to start releasing intel already on the London conference.
Oh, that's great. So yeah, I did notice you said you were going to be releasing some new intel.
Yes.
I have to say, in attending your conference in November, it was without a doubt one of the best conferences I've ever attended. So, especially because of the synergy and the connection with the people.
Yes. The energy was phenomenal, phenomenal because there were people from so many different backgrounds, and we have created a very, very strong energy vortex together.
We really have, and I'm really trying to keep that going, and
Yes.
I feel like the Cobras of the Laguna Beach group, we're just such a solid team,
Actually, we are, because of this success, actually we're creating another Laguna Conference around the 25th of May. And as you probably know, the 25th of May this year is a very strong full moon in Taurus, which will be one of the major energy breakthroughs of this year.
Yeah, I read about that. Now, also, what are you feeling about the end? Something's going on around the end of February?
I would not say that anything special is going on at the end of February. I would just say that the first few months of the year are preparation for the energies in May.
Okay. So you really do feel that if it's going to happen, the real turning point's going to be sometime in May.
This is one of the turning points. The second turning point will be much later in the year.
Okay. Interesting. Well, I just wanted to do just a quick update with you. Do you have any other information that you could share with everybody as far as any good, juicy intel?
Okay, you see, I'm now in a strange situation. I'm receiving a lot of juicy intel, as you say, but I don't receive a clearance to release it yet.
Okay.
I was just having a discussion with my contacts today. I want to release something. They say, no, you have to wait. The time is not yet right.
Okay.
And I said to them, people want to know, people need a little bit more, and they said, no, it's not yet time, because first, this muddy situation with this info has to settle a little bit. Certain situations have to be resolved, and then I'll be able to release much more.
Well, how are you?
So basically, the situation is not ready yet for that.
Okay, and no problem. I honor that. No problem. Now, how do you feel about the compression and the fact that there's been, a lot more, I don't know, what's the word, archonic stimulation?
Okay. Basically, there are two things happening. The first one is the big success of the light forces in the outer layer. The outer layer being layer between, I would say, 110 feet and 8.6 miles. This is the outer layer, which is being purified intensively. The matrix there is disintegrating. The archons are losing their power completely there.
Excellent.
So that's a good part of the story. The other part of the story is all those entities are now running scared and are entering the inner layer, which is between 0 and 110 feet. So we have quite much of a compression here in this inner layer. And there has not been yet a breakthrough in this layer, so this will have to happen later.
I do have to tell you that I had the Archon Grid busted where I live with Kundera, and it was an unbelievable experience.
Very good.
Yeah, it was very, very good. So I highly recommend people do that because you can really feel the shift. Nice.
Yes, I have released many tools how to assist in this process lately on my blog about, we have a Etheric Liberation Facebook group, we have some healers that can help, and I will also release some information about the Goddess Vortex very shortly.
Awesome. Well, as always, Cobra, I love talking to you, and I miss you, and give your lovely girlfriend, Isis, a smooch for me.
Yes, I will, definitely.
And I appreciate your time today, and I will probably be calling you again just to get another quick update on some stuff.
Okay, very good.
Okay, take care. Thank you so much for your time.